Hello, my friends. For today's reading, we have, I started off with the question, what fear do you need to face? And the answer I got was fear of relationships, honestly. Maybe fear about relationships, but definitely fear in relationships. This is the Jungian Tarot, so the interpretations are not the same as traditional tarot. The Three of Swords is about idealism, self-deception, particularly in regard to relationships. And then we have the Nine of Swords, which is about sharing, working with others, good-natured cooperation, daily activities comfortably shared. One person anticipates the need of the other. So, either you believe that you're not capable of a healthy relationship, or that you're never going to be in one. Those aren't quite the same thing, but they are very similar. And it's a very common fear. You may, in particular, this is also talking about self-deception in regard to relationships in particular, but also perhaps the status quo. So it seems that your status quo is not what you would like, and you fear that it will never change, in particular in regard to relationships. This is pretty common, I really think, whether you are male or female. The recent things I've been hearing about surveys of men and women and seniors graduating high school suggest that the state of relationships in general, worldwide perhaps, is not very good. I may do a male-female split. All right, so I'm going to take these away and ask for a representative for the masculine or male, well, no, let's go with masculine. Masculine perspective on this fear regarding relationships, of course. We have the Knight of Wands. Someone who is afraid of being tied down. Someone who doesn't want to, at least not right now, doesn't want the responsibility, doesn't want to, well, responsibility is the main thing. Does not want the responsibility, does not want to have to be worried about other people's thoughts or feelings or needs. Just wants to do what they want to do and run around and have fun. It's pretty childish, and it's player energy, basically. So, that's what we have for the masculine side of the equation. By masculine, I don't necessarily mean male. These terms we have, masculine and feminine, it's important to remember they are not intrinsic to being male or female. They are really not. There's nothing particularly masculine, or there's nothing particularly, how do I say this? We have these terms, these qualities, traits that we consider to be masculine, and this other set of qualities or traits that we consider to be feminine. There's no biological connection between these traits. They're not fixed in stone. They're not fixed in the shape of our bodies. They are societal constructs. And they can change because they are created by human beings, and we can create new ones. They are a form of Eight of Swords, mental imprisonment. The reality is that a fully realized human being would have all of these traits, the so-called masculine ones and the so-called feminine ones, and they would be fully developed and healthily developed, neither set oppressed or overactive, but integrated and balanced. The sad truth is that we have a society that does not promote that. And the oppression of women is a worldwide phenomenon that's been going on for thousands of years. The only thing that gives me a bit of hope is that a sociologist, I believe it's a woman, has come out and said that, I can't remember her name, but she said something like, when societal changes take place, major societal changes, typically what happens is there is a lesser sort of improvement, change for the better for oppressed groups. And, so there's this loosening of the oppression. But it doesn't completely go away. And after a certain period of time, there is a revolt by the status quo against the loosening of the oppression. And I'm not sure she put it this way. This is how I'm seeing it. So in this, when the status quo revolts, then the real battle begins. Of, are we really going to continue to hold on to these biases, because that's what they are, or are we going to let them go and choose a new way forward? And this is when there is some really intense fighting, intense battles. And I believe that's what we have going on now. The rise of the manosphere, red pill culture or content, I'm not sure which it's called, is very, very, very toxic. It's toxic to all of us, men and women, and it's doing an enormous amount of harm. And it is very, very oppressive, very, very misogynistic. So, maybe this is finally some real progress towards ending the oppression of women. I can only hope so. We should all be hoping so, regardless of whether you're male or female. Because oppression after a certain point does as much harm to men as it does to women. So regardless of whether you see yourself as male or female, it is hurting you. All right. Now, how about a representative for the feminines? Who wants to represent the feminine? Oh, wow. Well, okay. Not messing around, are we? Let's move this in closer too. Justice. Feminines want justice. Masculines just want to play around and be perpetual children. All right. Sorry, but that is the way I see it. And both fear relationships. I was not expecting a major arcana to represent the feminine. What else do we need to know about this fear? For the masculines, starting with the masculines. 8 of Pentacles, Yep, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of growing up to do. And a lot of work on emotional intelligence too. Feeling. It's not a good time for relationships, this is true. Until the healing is done, it's just not a good time for relationships. And if you experience an intense relationship before you've done this, that can be very scary. Judgment came out, crossing. So, so the Ace of Swords is the aha moment, the inspiration, the clarity, the moment of clarity. Insight, I should say, not inspiration. So insight, clarity, a sudden understanding, a shift. And crossing that is this judgment, a call to change, a call to be reborn, a call to be more in line with the divine. It's important to remember that women are people, that we are also creations of the divine. And would the divine really be in favor of so many of their creations? I don't believe in a masculine divine, because that would limit the divine. But would the divine want so many of their creations to be limited in this way, to be oppressed in this way by the other half? So religion is a very commonly used tool to excuse the oppression of not just women, but other groups as well. But religion is not the same as the will of the divine. So I can understand why those who practice this might be afraid of being called to change, to become more in line with the divine. Not with religion, but with the true divine. So this is interesting. For women, for the feminines, we have judgment in reverse. I'm going to need some clarification on that. Still not making sense to me. Judgment in the reverse. All right, I'm seeing a book, the one that goes with my Light Seers Tarot. Hang on, I have to go grab it. It's not right next to my table. Okay. Judgment in the reverse. Self-doubt. Hiding behind many masks, a reckoning, a need to let go of a shadow aspect of your story. Denying yourself and your loved ones the experience of your true nature or essence. Harsh self-judgment. That actually sounds a lot like the feminines. self-doubt, harsh self-judgment. I mean, not that you guys don't do that too, masculines. Because some of you may be female and some of you may be male. Doesn't matter. No gender here. A need to let go of a shadow aspect of your story. There's really a lot of hiding going on the part of the feminines. And perhaps there's been a lot of slow movement, slow, diligent movement. But still, there's this fear, a fear of being left out in the cold. All right. I think we've had judgment come up for both the masculines and the feminines. So we're just going to go ahead and do a little reading here from the Light Seers Tarot. One for each of you. So first of all, I want to get the I can only do one at a time. So I'm going to put these away, and we're going to do the feminines first. Okay, that's weird. I saw the Emperor and Empress cards, but I didn't see Justice. I guess we're going with the Empress and the Emperor. Okay. So, all right. For the Empress, the feminines out there who are seeking to heal their judgment energies. All right. So, judgment. According to the creator of the Light Seers Tarot, judgment is all about awakening your true nature. So, what do the feminines need to know about What do they need to self-reflect on? What do the feminines need to self-reflect on in order to awaken their true nature? Seven of Wands. This is about setting boundaries, standing strong for yourself, standing up for yourself, which feminines don't always do a good job of. Of course, we've been trained not to. And then we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is about giving to others. It's about remembering. It's about past life connections. In this context, I'm leaning more towards, let's see, I was asking self-reflection. What do feminines need to self-reflect on from the Six of Cups? Themes of your life. Inner child, yeah, definitely. And future self. This is in the upright, so I'm not going to go with some of the other meanings. All right, self-forgiveness. What do you need to release and forgive? What regrets or burdens can you release? Oh, that's very Eight of Cups. All right, feminines, what do you need to release and forgive? What regrets, burdens, etc. do you need to release? Seven of Cups. In reverse. Believing that you didn't have options when in fact you did. That would be voluntarily disempowering yourself, which is common in feminines. But again, learned helplessness is something that many of us are conditioned to believe in. It is a form of mental imprisonment, which, you know, all societal conditioning is a form of mental imprisonment. Keys to awakening your highest potential and expediting your magic and higher calling. We have the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups. So becoming your own spiritual leader, aligning with the divine, ascension, and letting go of that which no longer serves you. Of course. It's that seems very obvious to me, but I think the becoming our own leader, teacher, mentor, recognizing our own power, our own ability to guide our own lives. We have all these men out there saying that we're children and that we can't be trusted to guide our own lives, which is very 1800s thinking, but it's popular in certain circles. And it's something that women still have to overcome. Okay. And this is more about awakening. Two of Wands and Two of Swords in reverse. Okay. Two of Wands. This is the planning, initiating, getting ready, and preparing yourself to do this work. And the Two of Swords is, of course, the breakup of stagnation. No longer being still, but actually moving forward. So that is the message for the feminines. And let's see what the message is for the masculines. Same questions. But I am going to use a different deck for the masculines. I'm going to pull out the Emperor for you. Oh, I could do the Magician. There's Judgment. Why couldn't I see it before? No, I didn't want to see Judgment. I wanted Justice. Oh well. Okay. Back to the Emperor. Focus. Here we go. The Emperor. Masculines. Same questions for you. What have we got? Self-reflection. Key areas for you to consider. Key areas in your life to reassess that would help your personal transformation. These could be patterns of behavior, attitudes, beliefs, etc. Do you want to transform your life? All right, we're going to assume you do. We have the Sun in a crossing position. Happiness. I suppose you need to think about what happiness means to you. What does happiness really look like? Really and truly. In other words, is oppressing other people really going to make you happy? The evidence is clear. Oppressing others does not bring happiness or fulfillment to the oppressors. All right. And we have the King of Swords in reverse and the Page of Cups in reverse. So a lot of characteristics here that, or patterns of behavior, like the question said, that need to be looked at. The King of Swords in reverse. So this is someone who's pretty harsh with their words. Very, sharp-tongued kind of. Also conceited, really big ego. Manipulative, a show-off. Rigid, very rigid in their thinking. Controlling, irrational, cold, and controlling. I said controlling already. Calculating. I meant calculating. So cold, calculating, controlling, harsh, conceited, manipulative, a show-off, very rigid personality. And then we have the Page of Cups in reverse. The Page of Cups is not a doer. So I think this is a case of arrested development here. So someone who is very sensitive about their needs and completely indifferent to others. So it's a very narcissistic kind of thing, which unfortunately there does seem to be a rise of narcissism among males. Childish emotions, very childish emotionally. Self-absorbed, what matters is them or yourself and not the other person, how they're just completely indifferent to the signs that they're trying to give you. So there's the need for a lot more emotional intelligence, a lot more consideration, and awareness of how other people are being affected by your actions and behaviors. Honestly, this is kind of harsh. Don't get me wrong. I think it's accurate. Okay. So that was the self-reflection. Self-forgiveness. What do you need to release and forgive? What regrets or burdens can you release? Stagnation. What are you being stagnant about? Social conditioning. We already talked about this, right? Mental imprisonment. Societal conditioning. Fear of taking a leap into the unknown. There's a lot of unknowns here for you, isn't there? Lacking faith. Taking the fool's leap requires you to have faith. So, all right, this keeps coming out. I guess we have to talk about it. The Lovers. Intense emotions. Just a lot of fear of intense emotions and a need to forgive yourself for either not allowing yourself to have them or running away from them or I'm getting avoidance. You guys want the Ten of Cups lifestyle without giving anything emotionally, and that's just not possible. Keys to awakening your highest potential and expediting your magic and higher calling. Oh, all right. Ancestors. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that what men have been doing. Then we have the Emperor in reverse. This is what's going on now. That's what needs to come to an end. So becoming the true Emperor is what will... Well, that is your calling, isn't it? For you masculines. Your calling is to become the true Emperor. And for that to happen, you're going to have to let go of all of the wounded masculine traits. The sense of entitlement, the lack of discipline, the inconsistencies, selfishness, irresponsibility, tyranny, the use of force to oppress, suppress, and control others. This is a lack of genuine leadership qualities. And learning to see things from others' perspectives. I guess this is supposed to be here for you. Wheel of Fortune. Change is coming. So you can get on board or get run over. It is a wheel. Anything else for the masculines? A false belief in options, choices. Illusions and delusions. Yeah. You gotta let go of that. They're not really... This idea that things can keep going on the way they have been, that you have choices, you don't have to change. You can stay the wounded masculine, the Emperor in reverse. I don't think that's going to fly. Not in the long run. All those eggs are broken. This is a bird who's lost everything, whether they know it or not. They may think they still have something valuable coming out of those eggs, but no, they're broken. Time to let go of all that stuff. I know this is a very difficult message for masculines. I also know that some are confronting this, dealing with this, and some are not. Many are not. But I have faith in you. I believe you can get there. Also, change is inevitable, so one way or another, things will change, and I do hope they will change for the better. I wish all of us the best of luck, and I hope that we can all find a way to become our best selves and live up to our fullest potential. Good luck.